In the quiet town of Cleveland, Tennessee, a shadow lurks in the folklore of the Appalachian foothills, a figure both feared and revered. She is Tall Betsy, the towering specter said to emerge on Halloween night, her presence shrouded in mystery and superstition. This is the legend of Tall Betsy, folklore's tallest tale. Standing over 7 feet tall, her imposing figure strikes fear into the hearts of those who cross her path. But who, or what, is Tall Betsy? A ghostly guardian of the night? A cautionary tale for mischievous children? Or something far more sinister? For generations, tales of Tall Betsy have been whispered in the crisp autumn air. Some say she roams the streets to protect children from harm, ensuring they return home safely before the witching hour. Others believe her to be a darker force, punishing those who dare to break the rules of Halloween. But one thing is certain. Her legend has become woven into the very fabric of the community, sparking fear, fascination, and festive celebrations alike. In Cleveland, Tennessee, located in southeastern Tennessee, 30 miles northeast of Chattanooga, the legend of Tall Betsy isn't just told, it's immortalized in verse. A poem brings her story to life, adding rhythm and rhyme to her eerie tale. It begins like this. She comes out only on Halloween. On Centenary Avenue she can be seen. Tall Betsy is the lady in black. For scaring night owls she has a knack. Now if you're good and go home early, you won't get it by this gruesome girlie. But if you linger till after 10, we want you to know you are a has-been. Because Betsy will tuck you under her arm, and you can bet that is cause for alarm. To Fort Hill Cemetery she will go, to her mausoleum with you in tow. If you don't escape before sunrise, I warn you now, you will be her prize. She will have you for breakfast, I do not jest. You'll be on the menu, but not as her guest. Your bones, she'll dump in that old well at Arnold School, and no one will tell. Your parents, they'll worry and fret. They'll search all over for you, I'll bet. So go home early on Halloween night, and November 1st you'll be all right. Trick or treating is so much fun. But if you see Tall Betsy, run. The poem paints a vivid picture of a figure who is as much protector as punisher, a ghostly guardian of Cleveland's Halloween tradition. It is said that if you hear her eerie whistle or catch her shadow in the corner of your eye, you're already too late to escape her chilling presence. This poem, passed down through the years, is a reminder of the community's connection to the legend. Each Halloween, the words come alive as children recite them in anticipation of her appearance, the lines mingling with the rustle of fallen leaves and the laughter echoing through the streets. To understand the legend of Tall Betsy, we must first journey back in time to the origins of her tale. The story, as it is told, began in the early 20th century, when children were warned to be home by the stroke of midnight, or risk an encounter with a mysterious woman cloaked in black. The legend of Tall Betsy finds its roots in the folklore of Cleveland, Tennessee, where it has been passed down for generations. While the precise origins of the story are difficult to trace, Tall Betsy embodies elements common to Appalachian ghost tales. A towering, mysterious figure who appears under the cover of night, inspiring both fear and fascination. The earliest descriptions of Tall Betsy depict her as a towering woman dressed in black, with a long cloak that billowed around her as she moved silently through the streets. Her face, if visible at all, was pale and gaunt, with piercing eyes that seemed to see straight through to the soul. Some said she roamed the Fort Hill Cemetery, while others placed her by the creeks or wooded edges of town. Regardless of where she appeared, one thing was consistent. Tall Betsy was said to hunt for children who defied the curfew, her eerie whistle a harbinger of doom for the disobedient. She was described as impossibly tall, with piercing figure who glided silently through the darkness, her presence an omen for those who dared to disobey. Some say Tall Betsy is the ghost of a woman who lived alone, shunned by the community and driven to madness by her isolation. Others claim she is a reimagining of ancient Appalachian folklore, a bogeyman figure passed down through generations, Some speculate that Tall Betsy's legend began as a cautionary tale told by parents to ensure their children returned home before dark. In rural Appalachian communities, stories of wandering spirits or bogeymen were often used to instill discipline and reinforce safety, especially during the long, dark nights of autumn. These stories carried moral undertones, warning children about the dangers of staying out too late or misbehaving. Over time, this spectral character became a local icon, blending myth and tradition into a uniquely Cleveland narrative.
My family for generations, starting with my great-great-great-grandfather, Dr. Schultz. Back in the 1920s, he lived on 8th Street. He was walking home after work one day, and he cornered from Oak to 8th Street, and he saw this silhouette of this strange, tall figure walking towards him that he's never seen before. He got closer and closer to this figure, and the figure, which turned out to be a woman, stepped off the curb, let him pass, and continued walking on. It sent chills down his spine because he was recorded to be at 6'3", and this lady in a long black dress, silver hair, and a bonnet with the darkness masking her face, towered him by more than a foot. It continued to be passed on about this lady in black, as she was referred to at first, that Dr. Schultz saw in the 20s walking down 8th Street. They continued to tell the stories to all the kids on 8th Street to be able to get them in at night about the lady in black. Be in before nightfall, or the lady in black will come get you. And so then she went on through the ages until...
In the 1980s, the legend of Tall Betsy might have remained a fading memory had it not been for Allan Jones, owner and founder of the Check Into Cash franchise and a Cleveland resident who created a Halloween spectacle that would immortalize her in Cleveland's history. Jones, inspired by the old tales he heard growing up, decided to bring Tall Betsy to life as part of a Halloween tradition. Standing over 7 feet tall in a long black cloak and gloves, Jones would walk the streets of Centenary Avenue on Halloween night, playing the part of the mysterious specter. His appearance, combined with his towering height, made an indelible impression on the children and families who gathered to witness the spectacle. Jones's portrayal of Tall Betsy quickly gained popularity. Children and adults alike gathered, their fear replaced by awe and excitement. The character became a symbol of the town, a blend of fright and fun that brought people together under the glow of jack-o'-lanterns and moonlight. By 1986, she was officially named the official Goblin of Bradley County, a title that cemented her place in local folklore. Her story became the centerpiece of Cleveland's Halloween celebrations, with thousands of people gathering annually to celebrate and share in the frightful fun. The tradition grew to include parties, parades, and even a Tall Betsy festival, further embedding her story in the cultural fabric of the town. But while the festivities brought joy, they also deepened the mystery. Who was the real Tall Betsy? Was she simply a Halloween character brought to life? Or was there truth behind the tales of her haunting origins? Eyewitness accounts only add to the intrigue. Some describe hearing her eerie whistle in the dead of night, or glimpsing her shadowy figure disappearing into the trees. Others insist it's all a fabrication, a clever story to keep the spirit of Halloween alive. As we dig deeper, we uncover the layers of meaning behind Tall Betsy. She is more than a ghost story. She is a reflection of the fears and values of a community, a reminder of the power of folklore to shape identity and the ways we use stories to connect with the past. Whether she is protector or punisher, myth or memory, Tall Betsy remains an enduring symbol of Cleveland, Tennessee, a towering figure who casts her shadow over Halloween night and beyond. This is not just a story of fear, but a celebration of imagination, of how legends are born, grow, and live on in the hearts of those who tell them. Tall Betsy is more than a tale. She is a tradition, a mystery, and a part of a town's identity. And as long as Halloween nights are dark and the air is filled with whispers of her name, her legend will continue. As the years passed, the legend of Tall Betsy evolved, taking on a life of its own. Local newspapers ran stories recounting sightings of the tall, spectral woman. Parents told the tale to their children, passing down both the fear and the fascination. Her image became a staple of Halloween decorations, her story growing richer with each retelling. While Allan Jones's version of Tall Betsy brought joy and community spirit to Cleveland, her darker origins remain a subject of intrigue. Some believe that Tall Betsy was inspired by a real woman, perhaps an eccentric or reclusive figure whose appearance or behavior sparked rumors and stories. Others argue that she is a composite of multiple Appalachian ghost legends, transformed over time into a unique figure. For Cleveland, Tennessee, Tall Betsy is more than just a ghost story. She's a cultural icon. Her legend has inspired Halloween parades, community festivals, and even music. But despite her integration into pop culture, the mystery of Tall Betsy has never truly been solved. Eyewitness accounts continue to surface. People have claimed to hear her whistle late at night or see a shadowy figure taller than any human could be. A man recalls walking home late one Halloween night, only to see a shadow stretch impossibly tall against the wall of an old building. A woman remembers the strange rhythmic tapping on her window as a child, something she always believed was Tall Betsy watching. Even skeptics admit that the legend has a strange way of lingering in the back of their minds, especially on dark October nights. These stories, while often dismissed as Halloween-inspired imagination, contribute to her enduring mystique. But Tall Betsy isn't just about fear. Her presence has united the community, drawing thousands of people together for celebrations that mix the spooky with the joyous. Today, Tall Betsy represents more than just a ghost story. She is a symbol of Cleveland's shared history and creative spirit. Her tale brings the community together, reminding residents of the power of storytelling to connect generations. For children, she is a figure of playful fright. For adults, she is a nostalgic reminder of simpler times. The story of Tall Betsy has transcended its origins, evolving into a multifaceted legend that bridges the gap between folklore, tradition, and modern celebration. She is a protector, a punisher, and a pillar of Cleveland's cultural identity. On Halloween night, Centenary Avenue becomes a scene straight out of a storybook. Children dressed as ghouls and goblins walk hand in hand with parents, the streets alive with laughter and the crackle of leaves underfoot. And at the center of it all, Tall Betsy herself, a figure who somehow feels both menacing and familiar, looms tall, literally and figuratively, over the festivities. What makes the legend of Tall Betsy so enduring? Perhaps it is the timeless appeal of a good ghost story, the thrill of the unknown. Or perhaps it is her ability to adapt, to be both a creature of fear and a symbol of community spirit. In a world that is constantly changing, Tall Betsy remains a constant, a figure who reminds us of the power of storytelling and the bonds that hold us together. Whether you believe she is a ghost, a myth, or simply a bit of Halloween fun, one thing is undeniable. Tall Betsy is a legend that will never die. She will continue to haunt the streets of Cleveland, Tennessee every Halloween night, her story whispered by the wind and carried on by those who dare to tell it. And so, as the clock strikes midnight and the chill of autumn settles in, remember to stay inside, because you never know when you might catch a glimpse of the towering figure known as Tall Betsy.